although not as much anticipation as was what just happened to Suggs. You just walked into the pub they thought you were going to play, and...
Yes, you forget, having not been on a route master for 20-odd years, they don't have toilets.
Right.
We've now been trading around Camden for an hour and a half, and let's face it, we've had a couple of cold drinks. So we were supposed to burst into a pop quiz unannounced and surprise them all. Unfortunately, what they didn't realise was I only needed to go to the toilet. So it's the first time I've had a standing ovation for going to the lavatory, which was tremendous. So they're obviously up for it, and we are going to go back in and play a song after we've had this little chat. But it culminated me actually being in the gents with 4 or 5 other overexcited fellas all going, "Can I take your picture?" while I was still at the urinal,
really?
which I am hoping they didn't.
How has your day been so far? I mean, you've been all over the place already, haven't you?
Yeah, no, it's been great. It's been really fantastic. I mean, you know, obviously being a Camdenite, there's the manager of the Dublin Castle waving at you out the window,
look,
listeners.
I'm going to talk to him later.
You're going to speak to Henry, good old Henry, yeah. Which, of course, is where we started, ironically, at the Dublin Castle. Henry's dad, Allo, who unfortunately passed away last year, gave us our first gig, you know.
Although I was reading about this, is it true that you had to pretend to be a jazz band?
Yes, it is, well, to a certain extent, because it was just like a normal old Irish boozer. They'd have a bit of sort of whatever traditional music on a Sunday afternoon. And the only other thing would be a bit of country and western. So
yeah.
That's people shouting for Henry, by the way.
Henry, the landlord of the
And so we suggested that that's the sort of music that we played in order to get our first gig. And then after that, obviously, they sold a few more pints of Guinness and we got a residency there.
And so, I mean, what was it? It must have been, because you played there over the course of, you know, some weeks, and the crowd built and built and built. I mean, it was like scenes from The Who at the Railway Tavern, was it? People down the street?
Yeah, not premeditated in any way, but it did transpire when you read books by Simon Napier Bell and the like, you know, about how you plan a pop career. Yeah. It was the perfect way to start. Yeah, play a smallish pub until people can't get in and there's a queue around the block, and then obviously when the record company and the press turn up, they think, blooming heck, what's going on over there? And there was something going on over there, believe me, and still is.
Is Camden? I mean, this afternoon is a great celebration of music in Camden, but is this, you know, still your spiritual home? These places? I mean, Dublin.
No, very much. Yeah, I mean, because back to your original question, how's the day been? I find it really thrilling because, I've spent 35 of my years here in Camden, and I've seen it grow, the music scene. I've seen all the struggles people like Henry have had with the onerous licensing laws for music and all the things they've managed to achieve here, and still keep some relevance and not just become some sort of dreary tourist attraction. You know, all the great bands have at one time or another played in the small pubs here in Camden, and what a tremendous thing that is. And seeing it today, you know, in all its glory, with people coming from all over the planet, is a great, what do you call it, to all the people who've spent so much time and effort making Camden what it is in terms of music.
And what about your own successes, Madness? I mean, you know, it's 30 years on now, isn't it? I mean, what do you put it down to? We always knew that
Toffee apples.
We always knew that it was, you know, it was great. It was great character. It was a bit cheeky. There were great pop songs. But I mean, what is it? It's still as popular as ever, as, you know, evidenced by the musical and the interest in... You're doing another gig in the summer, are you not?
Indeed, we have an album out, The Liberty of Norton Folgate, and it's been very well received already. You know, for sure we were friends, you know, when we started the band, and the band was an outcome of our friendship, you know what I mean, not the other way round. So we've always enjoyed each other's company, and I think that has a big effect on the music that you make, and the videos that we made and the concerts that we do are genuinely resonating with our own joy of each other's company, and that's still the case today. Yeah, I'm very fortunate to be in a band like this, yeah.
And how much, just a last question before we let you go back, because...
They're starting to gather, they're gathering.
Yeah, I know, but it's like some sort of zombie film, is it not? Now they can see you behind the glass, they're beginning to come up, they've got flesh, madness, man.
How dare you call our fans zombies?
I'm not.
They may have had a few, they're looking a bit bedazzled, it must be said.
How much, just on the topic of Camden, how much has Camden changed, though, since you first started in a band? I mean, certain parts of it remain untouched, but you must have seen some change in Camden.
Yeah, I mean, when I say the tourist thing, I mean, of course, it is a huge tourist attraction, the market itself, but, you know, I wouldn't begrudge anyone, because I know people who had stalls down there for 30-odd years when there was 4 hippies and a bloke with a joss stick, you know, and so they've done very well. Of course it has changed, and things change, and things move on. I mean, for me, the continuum has been the Dublin Castle, because it's not only unusual for Camden, it's unusual for London that you've got a pub that's still run by the same family 30 years later, and it's still doing the same, you know, still has the same attitude to helping young bands. So there are very important pockets of joy still here in the place.
We'll be talking to Henry from the Dublin Castle in a little while. In fact, we're going to base ourselves next door to the Dublin Castle after 5 o'clock. But having got a round of applause for going to the toilet, can we now do another first? Can we applaud Suggs off the bus, please? Ladies and gentlemen, Suggs from Madness. Thank you very much. Take care.